In part two of biological evolution, we will look at how natural selection works, genetics, and other insights from the fossil record. Darwin studied artificial selection in pigeons and many other species. Humans have selected for traits in many domesticated plants and animals for millennia. Darwin realized that if humans could produce such change, nature could also produce such change, but over a much longer period of time. Natural selection is defined as the process by which individuals best suited to their environment survive and reproduce, and less well suited individuals are eliminated from the population. Natural selection is based upon the observation that populations or species are usually composed of more individuals than the environment can support. The Three Bears, a life story. In the spring of year one, Mama Bear and two baby bears emerge from hibernation, and Mama begins to teach the babies how to survive. During the summer, Mama continues teaching survival as the cubs grow. In the fall, Mama has her two cubs and she gets pregnant. In the winter, Mama and the cubs hibernate. On the left, you can see an illustration of the bear territory. There is one Papa Bear and three Mama Bears that this territory can fully support. In the spring of year two, Mama Bear plus two baby bears and two juveniles emerge from hibernation. Mama has to teach the new cubs how to survive. By the time summer arrives, Mama runs off the two juveniles to exclusively teach the new babies to survive. Over 20 years, Mama produces two cubs per year for a total of 40 new bears over her lifetime. The territory supports 4 adult bears, 3 females and 1 male, which equals 120 new bears over 20 years. Out of 120 babies, only 4 can replace the adults. The rest, unfortunately, become fodder for parasites and pathogens. The moral of the story is that natural selection is tough and merciless, and it targets juveniles. So, who gets the spot when an adult bear dies? Einstein Bear is passive and will not fight for food, so he starves and dies. Bear Grylls Bear can run really fast, catches food, survives to reproduce, and take Einstein's place. During a boom year, the territory can add another mama. But during a bust year, the territory can only support 2 mamas. Bust years occur when natural selection is in high gear, while boom years increase variations. Bust years may favor some variations over others and actually produce changes. We have seen many references to inheritance by many early scientists, but it was not until Gregor Johann Mendel laid the foundation for modern genetics, which is the branch of biology concerned with hereditary and variation, that we understood how inheritance works. Mendel is referred to as the father of genetics. He discovered the fundamental laws of inheritance, and he deduced that genes come in pairs and are inherited as distinct units, one from each parent. Mendel experimented with red and white pea plant flowers and discovered that recessive genes reappear versus being diluted out. Sexual reproduction always produces variations. The genotype is the genetic makeup of an individual, while the phenotype is the physical expression of that genotype. In the right side of the diagram, you can see the phenotype on the top in a ratio of 3 dominant pink flowers to 1 recessive white flower. On the bottom, you can see that the genotype of this phenotype is a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. An allele is a gene with more than one expression, more than one possible code. Dominant alleles, pink in this case, are expressed over recessive alleles, which are white. If the parents have the same allele, such as B, or small b, the offspring are homozygous with one type of allele. But if the parents have different alleles, the offspring will be heterozygous with two types of allele. Natural selection only works on the phenotype because it is expressed and interacts with the environment. Now, Darwin was unaware of Mendel's work and genetics. Now we know that the production of variations is due to gene recombination. Mutations, most of which are negative and primary for asexual reproduction, and chance events, which are major changes. How does a new species originate? Changes in genotypes cause changes in phenotypes. Natural selection then acts on the physical changes. In isolated populations, these effects are substantial, so genetic isolation is a key to speciation. We are going to look at two types of speciation, allopatric and sympatric speciation. Allopatric speciation emphasizes disruption of gene flow between populations, usually by some sort of physical barrier. It is the primary mode of speciation for the theory of punctuated equilibrium. Sympatric speciation emphasizes slow, gradual change of genetic information. It is the primary mode of speciation for the theory of phyletic gradualism. Now, the fossil record yields examples of both phyletic gradualism and punctuated equilibrium. On the right, you can see a phylogenetic tree that is representative of phyletic gradualism, or slow evolutionary change over time. On the left is a tree representing punctuated equilibrium. Punctuated equilibrium promotes periods of stasis in morphologic changes that are punctuated by an event that forces a rapid change. We find evidence for both types of speciation in the fossil record, and in reality, something along the lines of punctuated gradualism would be more correct. If we look at the evolution of the horse, we can see the evidence of slow, gradual change over time in size, numbers of toes, and the crown length of the teeth. In this diagram of horse evolution, you can see a division of the evolution that indicates punctuated equilibrium and rapid change between the small forest browsers below the red line and the large open savanna grazers above the line. A sudden change in ecology is responsible for the rapid evolution in this case. There are other insights on evolution from the fossil record. Adaptive radiation is the rapid evolution of organisms to fill new ecological niches. Adaptive radiation occurs when life forms rapidly diverge to fill a variety of niche spaces that have become open to them. We typically see adaptive radiation following mass extinction events. In this illustration, you can see the radiation of mammals after the extinction of dinosaurs at the end of the Cretaceous. In the late 1800s, the American paleontologist Edward Drinker Cope observed a common tendency for animals to increase in body size through an evolutionary lineage. This trend is often called Cope's rule. Horses, for example, were represented in the Eocene by a small animal known as Hyracotherium. Subsequent horses tended toward larger size. The living species, Equus cabeus, is about 4 times the size of Hyracotherium. We see evidence of Cope's rule in vertebrates and invertebrates. This illustration visually explains Cope's rule using the change in size of the sauropod dinosaurs from the Triassic through the late Jurassic. Convergent evolution is the evolution of similar body forms in 2 or more biological groups. Similar body forms evolve in different taxa that use similar ecological strategies or as a response to similar ecological pressures. In this instance, a bat wing, bird wing, and insect wing all evolved for the same thing, powered flight, and under similar ecological pressure or strategies, such as food gathering, yet these are all 3 different biological groups. Pre-adaptation is the idea that an organ or device that evolved for one purpose was available to be used for another purpose. This is different from convergence. In this example, lobe-finned fish that were top predators in the Devonian rivers used their thick, bony fins to swim and to increase their success as hunters. They also used their fins to push up and angle upward to grab prey. Over time, these fins became better adapted for moving on land and eventually began to turn to feet with toes on legs. The lobe-finned fish evolved from tetrapodomorphs to tetrapods. They became better adapted for clogged rivers, evolving elbows, knees, and phalanges from the bones present in the ancestral lobe fin. This is the end of biological evolution. Our next lecture will take us from single-celled animals to the evolution of multicellular animals.